What's up, everyone? Welcome to Smack Talk Week 7 DraftKings value plays. But let's do the little promo code here. Use the promo code FST or follow the card, link in the description below, and deposit at least $5 in the month of October. We're going to send you a t-shirt. This is one of your last chances, so go ahead, do that so we can get you that t-shirt, and DraftKings gives you entry into a free contest. All right, let's talk about Week 7. And last week, I double-checked. It wasn't my best week, ain't gonna lie. My quarterbacks hit, my tight ends definitely hit, one of my receivers did, my running backs just didn't hit last week, so I dug deep, but I didn't have to dig that deep because the first guy, and again, these are guys all under 5,000, so I like to dig a little bit deeper than most of the other sites out there. The first one's easy. That's Todd Gurley. He is only $5,000. He's playing the Cleveland Browns. They're 29th against running backs in fantasy production. I got this guy ranked number in my top 3 right now for this week in my season-long rankings. I mean, this is a steal. There's not a team that I'm building that he's not on, just because that is such a good value. All right, next guy is going to be Lamar Miller, and I loved what the Miami Dolphins did last week. Got a new coach in, and they actually let Lamar touch the ball consistently and gave him a ton of runs, and he performed fantastically. He's only 4,600. They're playing the Houston Texans, which, you know, they're 17th against running back, so it's not, you know, they're not the best, they're not the worst, but for 4,600, you gotta love that. And again, this is a guy I got inside my top 15, and based on this 4,600, DraftKings has him outside of the top 20 in terms of value. So I really like both those running backs. I hope they work out this week. I mean, Gurley has to, in my opinion. All right, let's move over to wide receivers. We're going to talk Snead for New Orleans Saints. You know, I know Watson got all the targets last week. I think he got 12 and Snead got 5, but consistently Snead's been getting the targets. Consistently Snead has been getting the catches. And all DraftKings is PPR. So for 4,300 against the Colts, you got to absolutely love that. Next guy is going to be Stephon Diggs for the Minnesota Vikings. He is 4,200, and over the last 2 weeks, Diggs has had 13 catches for 216 yards. You know, this kid coming out of, he played in the University of Maryland, and he's looked solid, and he's definitely has a rapport with Teddy Bridgewater, and they're saying even with Charles Johnson coming back, he lost his job. I mean, Diggs is going to be the guy out there. He's going to be a PPR kind of guy. End zone's always tough for him, so that's why he's only 42, so you hope that your ability to buy up the other guys fall into the end zone, but this is a guy that's going to get a decent amount of catches, I feel. So I like that. They're playing Detroit, 26th against wide receivers fantasy-wise. Let's go to quarterbacks. And, you know, I talked about Cutler last week, and the 2 weeks prior to that, I was always talking about Bortles and Bortles. But you know what? He keeps producing. So until they severely adjust his money, I'm going to talk about him. So Bortles, 5,400. So now, like I said, with quarterbacks, it's really, you can't find below 5,000 because it's normally backups, but 5,400 for a guy that passed the ball over 50 times last week for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I don't see why I won't be able to do that again, especially against Buffalo, because that's the way you beat them. You got to beat Buffalo in the air. So Blake Bortles, I'm just going to keep rolling you out. Now, granted, Jags aren't winning games, but he's looking good in fantasy. All right, let's go to tight ends, doubling down on Gates. Back-to-back weeks I used him, back-to-back weeks I'm going to do it again. He did adjust, he's at 5,000 now, but you're looking at 9 catches, like 100 yards basically each game, and Phillip Rivers just loves the guy, and he's just force-feeding him, and he's getting a ton of targets, and there's no reason that won't continue, especially against Oakland, who's dead last against tight ends. Tight ends score in Oakland like it feels like every single week, 1-2 touchdowns. So Gates with the targets, playing Oakland, you gotta love that for 5,000. Now, he's going to be the guy that everyone assumes is going to be great, so he'll be the one bust of the week. But I have him ranked number 2 as far as my tight ends for the season-long ranking. So a lot of these guys, what I looked at is where I ranked them in my season-long rankings, and then compared it to the values on DraftKings this week. So there's a ton of values, as you can see. All right, going to defense. Defense is always tough, but I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. They're 2,700, and they're playing that Houston team. And while Houston does have Foster back, and DeAndre Hopkins looks good, where you can kind of attack Houston is you can get to the quarterback to a degree. So in a DraftKings format where sacks are important, I think the Miami Dolphins can do that, but I do prefer almost buying up a little bit. They're not my greatest value play. So, you know, as far as this week goes, here's the deal. I'm putting Gurley in my lineup. I like Lamar Miller in a bunch of my lineups. I got Gates in a ton of lineups. I got Bortles. So what that means is I got DeAndre. I got the big receiver. So, again, that's how you kind of have to play it. Hopefully you win. Last week was the first week I did not win any of my DraftKings leagues. I'm going to rectify that this week, and I'm going to win the majority is what I hope for. So good luck to you. Good luck to me. And that's it, Week 7.